Bitcoin has exploded over the last few days. We are now approaching all-time highs. Meanwhile, the number 2 cryptocurrency, Ethereum, has been floundering. While Bitcoin is up almost 80% over the same time period, Ethereum's up about 30%. So what gives here? Will Bitcoin break down or will Ethereum break up? Today, I'm going to tell you exactly when the best time to buy BTC and ETH is. Let's get it. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. My name is Ben. Every day I show you how to make money in cryptocurrency. If you like money, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, guys, if you're new to crypto, make sure to check out crypto4dudes.com with the number 4. Here you can get my beginner's course, The Regular Guy's Guide to Crypto. This can help you if you need to understand a lot of the basics of cryptocurrency and blockchain, enough to get you going. Now, we're also working on some more courses, but make sure to start at the beginning for the most effective experience. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at exactly when you should be buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, because let's be honest, that's what you are all wondering about right now. First, we'll look at when to buy Ethereum. Then we'll be looking at when to buy Bitcoin. Lastly, we will be glancing at whether or not we will see a large Bitcoin correction, possibly down 30%. Quick look at Bitcoin and Ethereum's chart reveals that they both made gains over the last month, but they actually look quite different. As you look at these two charts, there's something extremely interesting. The Bitcoin chart is almost as straight as an arrow, starts bottom left and moves to the upper right. But as we shift our focus to the price of Ethereum, you see the volatility is much wider. There's no one singular direction that Ethereum seems to be moving in. It goes up quickly, then crashes quickly. And on any given day of the month, you can see big movements in either direction. Also, as you look at the Ethereum chart, you see the orange line, which is Ethereum's value against Bitcoin. In the world of cryptocurrency, we actually look more at an asset's price against BTC rather than looking at strictly against the US dollar value. Ultimately, cryptocurrency is a game of trying to build up as much Bitcoin as you can. People use altcoins in order to achieve that. They do what is called increasing their amount of Satoshis, which is the smallest piece available in Bitcoin. We call this stacking sats. So many people would see this as very bearish for Ethereum. But in my opinion, I think this couldn't be more bullish. We've discussed before how at the peak of Ethereum's value, it was sitting at about 10% of Bitcoin. It actually completely topped out at 14%, but only for a day. It was able to hold the 10% level for a bit. Now, this was somewhere around $1,300 to $14 for Ethereum and $13,000 to $14,000 for Bitcoin. Ethereum has now plunged to below 3% of Bitcoin's value. As of today, it sits at 473 and Bitcoin is at 17,900. It's only about 2.5% of Bitcoin's value today. The craziest thing about this is looking at where Bitcoin and Ethereum are in USD value. Last time Bitcoin was at about 18,800, Ethereum was around 800. I think probably most people would be surprised to see that. Many probably think Ethereum was doing much better than that at that time. Not quite as far behind as you may have thought in terms of dollars. Many believe that once ETH passes $500, it could quickly zoom up to 600. I also seem to believe along those lines. So what's the point here? Well, when we look at the best place to buy Ethereum, I would say that anywhere you can get it under $500, it is a heck of a buy. In the last bull run, it was approaching these numbers towards the end of the bull run. Well, now it's approaching these numbers at the beginning. Quite different situations. Now, of course, if Bitcoin were to have another large-scale pullback, this could push that number lower, but as we'll see in a few minutes, that may not be guaranteed. So for Bitcoin, where do I see it being the best time to buy? For this, I'm actually going to give you guys the number at the beginning, and then we're going to break down all of my reasoning. Be prepared because this might sound pretty crazy, but any place you get into BTC before $20,000 is going to be a spot you're extremely happy with. Like, yeah, of course, would have been great to get in where I did at $12 in 2012, or $1,000 in 2013, or even $3,900 in March of this year. But if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we would all have a Merry Christmas. You got to be happy with where you are. And right now, we are still in disbelief. no one can believe the price of Bitcoin is approaching all-time highs. Well, except for me and the BitSquad watching this channel, we've told you that forever. It only took 2 years of grinding on this channel for people to come to understand that I actually know what I'm talking about. Weird. But those of you who have been here, and new BitSquad members alike, you were prepared for this move. We don't go with the mainstream and just pick numbers out of the sky all willy-nilly. There's a method to the madness. Just last month, I told you guys that the best date to buy Bitcoin will be on November 2nd. And guess what? It's proven exactly to be true. You guys should pay more attention to the date, September 28, 2021. If you don't know why, you better ask somebody. But I gotta admit, even though the way this is playing out is exactly what I've been predicting for months, it still feels super surreal. For me, the euphoria has already kicked in. But here's the key. For those who bought Bitcoin in 2017, right at all-time highs, they aren't feeling anywhere close to euphoric yet. They do, I'm sure, have a bit of hopium starting to rise up. These people are skeptical. They want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they still have a chance to not only get their money back, their original investments, but many want to also make more money. That does not happen until 20K. Now, I hate to turn this whole video into an I told you so video, but I told you so. I've told you since 2018, once it was extremely clear we were in a bear winter, that even those people who bought Bitcoin at an absolute all-time high would one day not only get their money back, but also still make money. And it's coming to pass. So all of this leads us to one major assumption that I believe will prove to be 100% accurate. And if there's anybody I believe in, it's myself. Once we clearly break all-time highs, not just glance off of them, we will be heading to the 50K to 70K range in no time. We will have days where Bitcoin goes up several thousands of dollars. No one even blinks. It won't be even a big deal. There are still many all-time high buyers, though, who don't want to make money. They just want their money back so they can get out of this here Ponzi scheme. We call these people idiots. But hey, I get it. You want your money back because for the first time in your life, you took a risk and it didn't pan out. This world needs cowards like you. How else could they have ever made the Wizard of Oz? So for these people, they will be dramatically selling off when we barely touch the all-time high around 20K, which could lead us to the one last dip. The one last huge sell-off. Honestly, this is what I've been expecting. As I predicted in previous videos, Bitcoin hits almost all-time highs in November this year, then we get a large dip at the end of the month, only for Bitcoin to actually hit all-time highs and tear through them in December, specifically on December 23rd. While it might, of course, not be on that exact date, these predictions were based upon the all-time historical chart detailing all of BTC's halving cycles. Now, there is a scenario, though, where we do not get that last big dip. That's why I tell you getting BTC anytime before 20K is your best move. You could set some money to the side in case of a dip, but I prefer everyone to put something in now, which, of course, just my opinion, because I'm not a financial advisor. I mean, who wants to go back to college, am I right? Well, especially for accounting. The argument for Bitcoin, though, to do something different than it has always done in the past is that the types of people buying Bitcoin have drastically changed during this cycle. No longer is it just your crazy neighbor talking Bitcoin. It's billion-dollar companies and funds including Square, MicroStrategy, and the latest, Skybridge Capital. These huge conglomerates have iron hands, not just strong hands. They aren't selling. They're like that guy in the 70s who bought all the Star Wars action figures and keeps them in little boxes still to this day and still in his mom's basement. Zero intention to sell. So this huge influx of major capital into Bitcoin could prevent our anticipated last dip. But as I mentioned earlier, to do this, Bitcoin would have to do something different than it had always done before. But what do you think? Where are your targets to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum? Drop me some comments down below. That's all I got. Be blessed. Good boy out.